So, Eric, from your research that you've conducted, was Joseph Kennedy a bootlegger during the days of Prohibition?
Joe Kennedy was not a bootlegger. There's no evidence that he was. He was in the liquor business, but he was in the liquor business before Prohibition, and his family was, and he was in the liquor business afterward. What he did during Prohibition is he purchased liquor companies overseas. And because he was very concerned, he didn't want to be an Irish liquor guy, but it was fine to be a British distiller. So he bought a company in England and renamed it Somerset Distillers. Somerset was the name of a very waspy club, social club in Boston that he could not get into, which tells you an awful lot. He also invested in alcohol for medicinal purposes, some of which was during Prohibition. And ultimately, he did do business after Prohibition, big liquor business in the United States. One of his partners was none other than James Roosevelt, the president's son, because it was very important to him to show he was a prestigious kind of guy. James Roosevelt was not in the liquor end of the business. He was in the shipping and insurance end of the business. One of Joe Kennedy's other partners was somebody you might have heard of named Winston Churchill. He was an investor in Joe Kennedy's companies. What's very interesting to me is that people have a deep psychic belief in believing Joe Kennedy was a bootlegger. In fact, of all the things I say in my books, one of them that makes people angriest is that Joe Kennedy wasn't a bootlegger. I mean, I get threats. Why do you care so much? What is the need to believe this? Now, the fact is where Joe Kennedy did make his money, because I don't want people to think my conclusion is that he was a sweet guy. In fact, he was a real rough customer, but he was really slick and really smart and kind of diabolical. He made most of his money in what is today called insider trading, which in those days was not a crime. It was a frowned upon practice.